Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to today's session. So, what we are going to learn today is homophones. All right. Now, let me just check if I am already live or not, and then we shall start today's session. So, what we are going right. So, we are live. Now, I'll quickly share the PPT. Yes. All right. Now, what are homophones or what are close homophones? Now, certain words that almost sound the same. I would not say each and every time they sound exactly the same, but most of the times they sound same, but they mean different. And most importantly, they're spelled differently, right? So these words are called homophones. Let's look at the first set. And now, I've also included this slide, which actually asks you why, why does it matter? Why is it important? So, one, they're frequently tested in the VA section or error detection. They are a tricky part in the para completion and sentence correction questions. Test clarity of meaning plus contextual usage in terms of when it is there in the exam. What does it test? It tests clarity of meaning and contextual usage. So the golden rule that one must follow is the sound, even though the sound is same, it may not necessarily mean the same. So we have to look for the spelling correctly. We have to look for the spelling intently, and we have to figure out which one fits here. For example, the first word, averse and adverse. Now, adverse means unfavorable, as in the circumstances were adverse or the conditions were adverse, which means unfavorable, something which is not going along your way. For example, the company survived adverse market conditions, which mean unfavorable market conditions. Now let's look at the word averse. Averse is strongly opposed. Averse is, something that you strongly dislike. That's averse, coming from the word aversion. The sentence, let's look at the sentence. She is averse to unnecessary conflict. Or sometimes you are, in terms of food, in terms of smell, some smells are, you are averse to certain smells. You can use the word there as well. So averse and adverse. Averse is unfavorable and adverse is strongly opposed or strongly disliked. The next set is apprise and appraise. Now apprise is to inform. The Prime Minister was apprised about the important changes that happened, or during the Op Sindoor, the Defense Minister and the Prime Minister were apprised after each hour passed. Please apprise me of any changes. So apprise me of any changes means please inform me. Appraise means to evaluate, और वहीं से word बना है appraisal, right? So what happens in an appraisal? You are evaluated on how you performed, and accordingly you are given a raise, 5% raise or a 10% raise. That's called an appraisal. So appraise is to evaluate. The jeweler will appraise the quality of the necklace, right? Now, advance and advanced. Now, these words are very, very close and we must clearly understand, because बहुत सारे students advanced and advanced में सिर्फ यही difference समझते हैं कि advanced present tense है और advanced उसका past tense है. But no, not necessarily. So the word advance means to progress, right? We paid an advance before the workshop. जब आप किसी से सामान लेने जाते हो या आप ऑनलाइन ऑर्डर करते हो तो वो बोलते हैं ना, you have to pay in advance. Now, advanced is high levels. She joined an advanced reasoning class. So advanced is something higher level or something which is latest, something which is, newest, and that is advanced. So advanced Java, advanced C++, right? Advanced, however, means to progress, to move forward. Okay? Assure, ensure, and ensure. So assure, all these words are verbs, but सबका meaning बिल्कुल अलग है. Assure is to reassure, like I assure you that the report is accurate. किसी को reassure करना, किसी को assurance देना, right? Then comes ensure. Ensure is to make certain. Please ensure every answer is marked. अब वहां पे आप assure नहीं बोल सकते हो. Let's say the invigilator is telling the students, please ensure every answer is marked. Write your name and your roll number first. And then the student says, ma'am, I assure you that I will fill the necessary blanks. Okay? Then comes the word insure, where you provide insurance. They insure the officer against fire. You insure your house against an accident or a natural calamity. So to provide insurance is insure, right? Or for example, when when you leave your house, you ensure that the flight is on time or the train is on time. Okay? Now, the word breach. Now, BREECH, breech is the rear part. It may be the rear part of a gun. It may be the rear part of a ship, but any rear part is the breech part. It is also a child position where the baby is heads up. That position of childbirth is called, breech position. Now, the word BREACH, breach, is a violation, to break a law. That is breach, to break a law. Leaking the file was a breach of trust. Or let's say, you jump into someone's fence, someone's boundary around the house. What would that be? That would be again a breach of the boundary. Okay? Then comes conflicted and conflicting. Now, understand. The word conflicted and conflicting both are adjectives. एक past participle है, present participle है, but दोनों का meaning बिल्कुल अलग है. When we use the word conflicted, we mean a person is internally torn, right? You are, in your head or in your soul, you are internally torn. What to choose, which one to reject, what to keep, or there is a dilemma. So he conflicted about resigning. While conflicting is contradictory, like two people may have conflicting ideas, right? Two brothers of the same age may have conflicting values. Okay? Now, the sentence, the witness gave conflicting statements. So, कभी कुछ बोल रहा है विटनेस, अगर कभी कुछ बोल रहा है तो उसकी स्टेटमेंट्स कैसी होंगी? Conflicting होगी, contradictory होगी. While conflicted is something which is internal. When you are stuck, when you have to choose. Okay? Then comes conscious and conscious. Now, please do not read the word as conscience. It is written as conscience, but it is pronounced conscious. Now, the first word, conscious, is a noun. It's a moral sense of right or wrong. It's a moral sense of right or wrong. Okay? That's conscious. So it says, his conscience would not let him lie. His moral sense would not let him lie. The inner voice is called conscience. The next word, conscious, is an adjective which means aware, to be aware about the surroundings or to be morally aware, right? Both ways, the meaning is the same, aware. She was conscious of every mistake. और इसी में एक और similar word आ जाएगा, consciousness. Consciousness is what we call in Hindi as होश में रहना, right? To be aware about the surroundings, to be in your senses. That is consciousness. So conscious is aware. She was conscious of every mistake, which means she was aware of every mistake. And while conscience, conscience is the moral sense of being right or wrong, good or evil. That is conscience. Continual. The next set is continual and continuous. Now, continual is an adjective that tells us that something is being repeated, while continuous, which is again an adjective, tells us something which comes without stopping. So, continual is the continual interruptions broke his focus. Continual is repeated. Start, stop. Start, stop. That is continual. Continual is without stopping. There is a start, but there is no end. जैसे जब लगातार बारिश होती है पूरा दिन तो हम continuous rainfall बोलते हैं. So continuous rainfall is that it has been raining throughout the day, right? But continual means repeated. The machine made a continuous hum, which means that humming sound did not stop. Okay, so something which starts and stops and that starts again is continual and not continuous. Be very cautious with these words. The next set of words, and the most confused words, because a lot of people, rather maximum number of people, associate the word disinterested and uninterested only with the part interested. So some would say, okay, one would mean abhi interested nahi hai, the other would mean baad mein bhi interested nahi hai, pure time interested nahi the, all of this. But no, these are not the meanings. The word disinterested means impartial. It means unbiased. It means unbiased. A judge must remain disinterested. Disinterested means unbiased, impartial, neutral. Okay? When someone is disinterested, it doesn't mean कि उनको interest नहीं है. It means that they are unbiased. It means that they are neutral in their approach. It means that they are impartial. While the word uninterested means not interested. He looked uninterested in the lecture. So the only word to show lack of interest, is the word uninterested. This is lack of interest. This is lack of interest. While disinterested is not lack of interest, it is being impartial or being unbiased. Always remember, this is a very, very close meaning word. A lot of students end up marking incorrect answers. Now, the first word, eminent. Then the next word is imminent. And the last word is immanent. Eminent means famous. जिसको सब जानते हैं वो eminent है. The eminent scholar addressed the class. Right? Eminent is somebody who's famous. Everybody knows this person. Imminent is something which is about to happen. Something which is hanging there. Something which is looming there. Something which is about to happen. That has to happen. For example, if there are black clouds outside, Rain is imminent. Let's look at the sentence. A policy change is imminent. A policy change is imminent. Something that is about to happen. A better example is what I just told you. If you see black clouds in the sky, then rain and thunderstorm is imminent. Immanent. Immanent is inherent. Something that comes from within. That is immanent. Some believed justice was immanent in nature. Immanent qualities होती हैं लोगों के अंदर, right? Righteousness, positive attitude are some immanent qualities that people have. Honesty is, one such thing. So immanent qualities is something that comes from within, something which is already there, something that exists from within, that is inherent. And that word is immanent. Please be very careful and sure between imminent and immanent. There is only the difference between this I and this A. Okay. The next set of words. Insight and insight. Now, insight is a deep understanding. When people have insight, they can really look into the things. Her essay showed real insight. जिसको हम बोलते हैं गहराई से किसी बात को समझना या पढ़ना, उसको insight बोलते हैं. INSIGHT. A deep understanding of something. That's an insight. I would really want to know about the insight that you have after watching the movie Dhurandhar, right? या जैसे जब मैच होता है तो मैच के बाद पोस्ट मैच प्रेजेंटेशन होता है और उसके बाद फिर बहुत देर तक डिस्कशन होता है कि प्लेयर ने कैसा खेला, बॉलिंग कैसे डाली है आज, बैट्समैन ने कैसा खेला. What is all of that? It is their insight into the match that happened today, right? Then the next word is insight, which means to provoke. Insight means to provoke. Now, किसी को भड़काना. The speech could incite violence. So, when there is an irritated dog on the road and the dog is barking, and if you try to, throw something at the dog, or maybe, you try to irritate the dog some way, the dog gets more incited, more provoked, and it might bite you. Don't incite the dog. It might bite you, right? So incite is to provoke. Please remember, INCITE is a verb, while incite is a noun. It is an abstract noun. Okay? The next set of words. Discrete. Now, there is a very, very little difference between discrete with CREET and CRETE. Now, discrete is tactfully done. Discrete is something which is, which is hidden, which is covert. जो चुपचाप दबे पांव किया जाए, जो चुपचाप बिना आवाज के किया जाए. He discreetly changed the topic, right? Or the documents are hidden discreetly in the study, which means they are hidden in a fashion where nobody can find them. While the word discreetly with a CRETE means separately, alag-alag. The samples were measured discreetly. When you go to a library, the books are kept discreetly, isn't it? They are either kept in alphabetical order, and then they are kept in their, which genre it belongs to, which subject it belongs to. Now, how do I remember? I'll tell you my trick. What is the difference? When the two E's, 1 year and 1 year, when the two E's are separated by T, then the meaning of this discreetly is separately or separate. Something which is done separately. So discreetly is separately. When the two E's are separated By T, the meaning is separately. And the other meaning where double E comes together would be tactfully or hidden or done in a covert fashion. The next set, farther and further. This I'm sure a lot of people know. Now, farther means more physical distance. जब कोई चीज physically दूर होती है तब हम farther use करते हैं. She ran farther than I did. तो जब हम distance के context में बात करते हैं तब हम farther use करते हैं. But जब हम extent के context में बात करते हैं तब हम further लगाते हैं. So further is additional. Further is, further is an extent. Like for example, we need further discussion. So, there is more extent to do this. There is, there is more scope to take this forward. Then you would use the word further. And farther will always be with the word distance. So physical distance है, farther लगाएंगे. और अगर extent push कर सकते हैं, किसी चीज की limit push कर सकते हैं, then use the word further. All right, let's go to the next set. Historic, historical. Now, historic is something which is important in history. Like winning the T20 World Cup was a historic moment, right? It was a historic verdict, something which is important in history. Historic means memorable. Historic means something memorable. It was a historic trip. I have never enjoyed so much. Right? So historic would be memorable. Historical means related to history. So she reads historical fiction. Anything which is related to history would be historical. But anything which is memorable, जो आप कभी नहीं भूलेंगे, that would be historic. Imagine you witness India winning the World Cup. Imagine you're there in the stadium. Or let's say you are a lawn tennis fan and you imagine sitting there and watching, your favorite Djokovic win a Grand Slam finale. That would be historic. Okay, the next set of words. Compliment with PLI and compliment with an E. So compliment, ये वाला, is praise. किसी की तारीफ करना. Synonymous to the word Lord. L-A-U-D. Lord. किसी को praise करना, किसी की तारीफ करना, किसी को compliment करना. Like you say, oh, you look beautiful today. That's a compliment. She complimented his clarity. Clarity of thoughts or clarity of words. It can be anything. But she complimented, right? Compliment means to, I'll add to this, to make complete. Compliment is to make complete. The sauce complements the meal. When you look at a couple and you say, oh, you guys compliment each other so much. What is that compliment? This one or this one? Definitely this one. So compliment means you guys make each other complete. There are certain, food that, like you say, fish and chips, they complement each other. Burger and fries, they complement each other, right? Okay, the next set. Flair, now F-L-A-I-R, flair is a natural talent to do something. Like she has a flair for language. Dr. Shashi Tharoor has a flair for words, a flair for drawing, a flair for singing. Any natural talent is flair, F-L-A-I-R. F-L-A-R-E, flare is a sudden burst. किसी चीज का अचानक से बहुत जोर से होना could be flare, F-L-A-R-E, right? Temper began to flare. जब आग भड़कने लगती है, आंधी आ गई और आग जल रही है, तो आग भड़कने लगेगी. then we would say the fire flare, FLARE. ये वाला flare नहीं लगेगा, right? Similarly, जब हम denims की बात करते हैं और हम flared denims बोलते हैं, तब हम इस वाली word को refer करते हैं. ये इस word का second meaning है. FLARE, flare. Anything which is, you know, open and anything which is open and bigger in dimension towards the end is what? Flaring. So there are flared pants, there are flared denims, right? It's always this way. Okay. Now, the next set, climatic. Now, climatic is related to climate. कुछ भी जो क्लाइमेट से रिलेटेड होगा, मौसम से रिलेटेड होगा, वो क्लाइमेटिक होगा. Climatic shifts hurt farming. So climate is related to the climate. Climatic is related to climax. Most intense. जो एंड में हो रहा है, जो क्लाइमैक्स के टाइम पे हो रहा है, जो पीक पर जाकर के हो रहा है. द नॉवल एंड्स विद अ क्लाइमैक्टिक सीन. द मूवी एंडेड विद अ क्लाइमैक्टिक सीन. और तभी हम बोलते हैं ना कि अरे अभी अभी मैं कहीं बाहर नहीं जाऊंगी, मूवी का क्लाइमैक्स आ गया है. सो क्लाइमैक्टिक इज रिलेटेड टू द क्लाइमैक्स, समथिंग विच इज मोर इंटेंस, राइट? रिमेंबर, क्लाइमैक्टिक है तो क्लाइमेक्स से रिलेटेड है, क्लाइमेटिक है तो क्लाइमेट से रिलेटेड, मौसम से रिलेटेड. Then the word current. Now this is that physics wala current which flows in the wires. Like light chali jati hai to hum bolte hain na, oh current chala gaya, there's no electricity. So this is the electric current, right? This is the electric current, the present or the flow. Now, the current pulled the boat away. This is in another context, and I've deliberately put this sentence. Why? Because it's not just the physics current that we know. It may be the current of the water, the upstream, downstream current, right? So current is the flow. It may be the flow of water. It may be the flow of electricity. Then the other word, current, are small dried fruits that you generally find in ice creams or or any bakery products. So the ice cream or the bun contained current. एक फ्लेवर भी होता है ना, black currant बोलते हैं हम. Oh, I like black currant ice cream. So current is the small dried fruits and they're called current. Okay. Remember, CURRENT current is not just electric current. It may be water current as well. Okay, a very interesting set. Coupe. Now, coupe is a two-door car, right? He bought a silver coupe. So, a very, very close word, which a lot of people, misunderstand is COUP. Coupe is seizure of power. The general planned a coup. And you would be surprised if you check the dictionary, you would find more meanings with both the words, right? But as of now, just remember that COUPE is a two-door car, it's a coupe. Or you can just simply remember a mode of transport, right? And a coupe is when people come together to do something, to plan something. That's a coupe, COUP, right? Okay. HOARD, hoard. Now, hoard is to store secretly. Generally, not necessarily secretly. I mean, I would put this in a bracket. Hoard is to store, collect karna, gather karna. Some people hoard old newspapers. Like, generally the squirrels hoard a lot of nuts and then they forget kahan chupaye the unhone. HORDE, hoard, is a large crowd. That's horde. A horde of fans waited outside SRK's residence. So horde is a large gathering or a large crowd. While HOARD, hoard, is to store or collect. Okay. BAITED, baited, and BATED, baited. So the first word, baited, 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 means set a lure. The fishermen baited the hook. Set a lure matlab, से हम मछली पकड़ते हैं ना, तो मछली को पकड़ने के लिए हम बेट हैंग करते हैं. That is bait. जैसे when you go to the mall, when you go to the shopping mall, you know, what's the bait? Buy 3, get 3, buy 5, get 7 free. What are these? These are all bait. So that they set a lure for the customers to come and see. And then only the customer would enter the shop, right? And end up spending a lot of money. Baited. The next word, baited, means held back. Look at the sentence. They waited with bated breath. So baited is something which is held back. Now, let's say somebody is checking their results, right? They waited with bated breath. So baited is something which is held back, something which is forced. Piche ki taraf. That's baited. Okay? Okay. Confident. You know the meaning of the word confident. I'm extremely sure. I've put this word just to show you how these three words are together, almost there in sound. So confident is self-assured. She sounded confident during the interview, right? I'm very sure you know this word. Okay. Then comes the next word, confident. Confident is a trusted person, जिसको आप अपनी सारी बातें बताते हो, जिसमें आप confide करते हो. Raj became his closest confidant, a trusted person. Confidante is a trusted female friend. So Meera was her mother's confidante. That's the only difference. Confidant is any person whom you trust. It may be a male, it may be a female, it may be a dog, right? But if it is a female friend, then the word to go with is confidante, right? Okay. Defamation. Now, defamation, I'm very sure you know this. Defamation is damage to reputation. The article led to a defamation suit. When someone spoils someone's reputation, that's a defamation. Deformation is a kind of distortion. Heat caused deformation of the frame. Like sometimes when kids are born, they are born with deformed limbs. That's also a deformation. And then there is natural deformation that happens in nature, and it adds to the beauty of nature sometimes. So deformation not always is necessarily, bad. Deprivation and deprivation. Now the word deprivation means to become or to be morally corrupt. The story explores moral deprivation. So deprivation is, अपनी moral values में गिर जाना, नीचे चले जाना. That is deprivation. Deprivation. What is deprivation? Deprivation comes from the word deprive. किसी चीज की कमी होना. इसीलिए deprivation का meaning है lack. Lack of anything is deprivation. Sleep deprivation affects memory. And food deprivation does what? Food deprivation brings malnutrition. Okay. Also, please notice we have the word affect. And since we are doing homophones, I want to do this word again. Affect. And a very, very close word is effect. Effect is result. Effect is outcome. Affect is influence. If you have a headache, you have a pill. और उसके effect से आपका सर दर्द ठीक हो गया. That's effect. Affect is influence. जैसे यहाँ लिखा है, sleep deprivation affects memory. right? Okay, let's move to the next set, dredge and drudge. So now dredge is clear by scooping. कहीं पे भी अगर कोई गंदगी है, कीचड़ है और उसको स्कूप करके निकाला जा रहा है तो उसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? ड्रेज बोलते हैं. Workers dredge the canal. So how did they move it, or how did they work on the canal? They were scooping out the mud. Always remember कि dredge हमेशा मिट्टी और कीचड़ से related होगा, always. While drudge is toil. Drudge is थका देने वाला काम. He drudged through the paperwork. Something which is painstaking, something that requires a lot of hard work. That is drudge. And a very, very similar set again. We have done dredge and drudge. And on the next slide, I put trudge and drudge. So drudge, I just spoke about, which is toil, doing a lot of hard work, right? While trudge is walk heavily, or to walk with heavy footsteps. To walk with heavy footsteps. जब आपके पैरों में बहुत दर्द है, बहुत थकावट है और बहुत हेवीली चल रहे हो आप, राइट? उसको हम क्या बोलते हैं? ट्रज. They trudged home in the train. So trudge is a way of walking, like strolling. Strolling is also a way to walk. This word is trudge. The next set is forbidding or foreboding. Now, forbidding is like, stopping somebody from doing something. Hostile looking, that is forbidding. Or, to stop, to forbid somebody from doing something. The castle looked forbidding. So look forbidding means it looked as if we should not enter this place. This is what we mean by the word forbidding. Now, foreboding is a sense of doom. Foreboding is a feeling which you already have that something bad is about to happen, right? That is a foreboding. That feeling that something bad or evil is about to happen. That is a foreboding. Look at the word for. For का मतलब ही है before, पहले से जो पता चल जाए. A foreboding silence filled the room. All right. Now, next set is precipitate. Precipitate is to cause suddenly. Precipitate is something which is rash, which happens suddenly. His remark precipitated an argument. While the word precipitous is very steep, going down suddenly, that's precipitous. They climbed a precipitous path. तो जब कोई चीज बहुत ज्यादा स्लोपी होती है तब हम प्रेसिपिटस बोलते हैं. बट अगर कोई चीज बहुत सडनली डिबेट स्पार्क कर दे, हल्ला मच जाए, राइट, दैट इज प्रेसिपिटेट. जैसे सेलिब्रिटीज के साथ होता है ना, उन्होंने कोई वीडियो अपलोड करी एंड देन विद इन आवर्स दे गेट a reaction, a precipitate reaction. So very sudden rash reactions, that is precipitate. Okay. Next set, picturesque and picturesque. Now, picturesque is an adjective which is roguish episode. So, picturesque is, very like a rogue, very irresponsible. जैसे पुरानी जमाने की मूवीज जो कैरेक्टर्स होते थे ना, कि कॉलेज जा रहे हैं, हीरो मस्ती कर रहा है, पढ़ाई नहीं कर रहा है, क्लास बंक कर रहा है, एंड येट सारी लड़कियां उसकी फैन हैं, all of that. This kind of setup is called picaresque. The novel follows a picaresque hero. So roguish, that's picaresque. Picturesque is something which is visually charming. Like when you go to a hill station, the view is picturesque. We stayed in a picturesque village, something which is visually charming or visually appealing. That is picturesque. Something that looks out of a picture, right out of the picture, would look picturesque, always look picturesque, right? Now, prophecy. The next set. Now, please note, दोनों केसेस में prophecy का मतलब prediction या predict करना ही है. The difference is prophecy with a C is a noun, prophecy with an S is a verb. The prophecy frightened them, some economists. Prophecy, a slowdown. Now, please remember that you have more such words. For example, the word advice. Advice with a C is a noun and advice with an S is a verb. This is a noun spelling. Advice with a C is a noun. Advice with an S is a verb. Similarly, with the word practice, this is a noun. And practice, this is a verb. Practice makes a man perfect. We need a noun in this sentence. हम ये वाला word लगाएंगे. The players practiced regularly. What do we need in this sentence? A verb. So we are going to use the S spelling. कैसे याद रखोगे इसको? I see a noun. The moment you see when the spellings are exactly the same, the C spelling is always the noun spelling. देखो यहाँ पे C spelling noun spelling है, यहाँ पे भी C spelling noun spelling है और यहाँ पे. So I see a noun is a very, very good technique of remembering that when two spellings are ditto same and they mean same, yet one spelling is a C spelling and another is an S spelling. What do we do? What do we do? The C spelling will fit as a noun in a sentence and the S spelling will fit as a verb in a spelling. Okay? Censor. Now, censor is to suppress or to ban. जैसे film censor करती है. The board may censor the film. Censure is to criticize strongly. The committee voted to censure him. Censure is to criticize strongly. For example, when when people pass remarks, especially somebody from the neighboring country, our politicians, especially our external affairs minister, he censures those remarks. Credulous and credible. Now, credulous is gullible. जिसको आसानी से बुद्धू बनाया जा सकता है, जो बहुत भोला भाला इंसान है, उसको क्रेडुलस बोलते हैं, उसको गलेबल बोलते हैं. Only the credulous believe the rumor. Credulous मतलब भोले भाले लोग, जिनके पास ज्यादा जो अपने दिमाग नहीं चलाते हैं, वही लोग ऐसी बातों पे विश्वास करते हैं, राइट? जैसे अभी जब ईरान वॉर स्टार्ट हुई, इतना हल्ला मच गया कि सिलेंडर नहीं मिलेगा, गैस नहीं मिलेगी, और लोगों ने होर्ड करना शुरू कर दिया. यहां तक आ गया कि वॉर हो जाएगी, राइट? टिल इट एक्सटेंडेड, इट वेंट बियॉन्ड कि गवर्नमेंट को इंटरफियर करना पड़ा और बताना पड़ा कि भाई ऐसा कुछ नहीं होने वाला है, राइट? देन द नेक्स्ट वर्ड क्रेडिबल. क्रेडिबल मीन्स बिलीवेबल. क्रेडिबल मीन्स trustworthy. She gave a credible explanation. जिस पे विश्वास किया जा सकता है, वो बात कैसा है? क्रेडिबल है. कोई स्टूडेंट क्लास में लेट आता है, उसने क्रेडिबल एक्सक्यूज दिया, विच मीन्स एक ऐसा एक्सक्यूज दिया जो विश्वास करने लायक था. So she gave a credible explanation. She gave a credible excuse for coming late in the class. Distrust and mistrust. Again, a very, very common error, very close words. Distrust means lack of trust. Years of fraud bred distrust. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आपने कभी इंस्टाग्राम से या फेसबुक से कभी कोई सामान खरीदा, आपने पेमेंट कर दिया, चीज नहीं आई, या चीज आई बहुत 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 घटिया चीज आई, तो अब क्या होगा? यू वुड डेवलप अ डिस्ट्रस्ट. मिसट्रस्ट. मिसट्रस्ट इज सस्पिशन. I mistrust promises without proof. So distrust is lack of trust, while mistrust is suspicion. जैसे जब नया नया AI आया था तो सब लोग हैरान थे कि क्या है ये, क्या होगा, पता नहीं इस पे विश्वास करना चाहिए कि नहीं, right? What was it? Mistrust. Okay. Counselor is an elected member. A counselor can be an executive as well. The counselor opposed the plan. An elected member is a counselor, while a counselor, COUNSELLOR spelling, is an advisor, somebody who counsels, somebody who advises. So the counselor suggested a new strategy. Okay? This counselor. Exceptional, exceptionable. Exceptional is outstanding. That's exceptional performance. Her score was exceptional. Exceptionable is objectionable. His remarks were exceptionable. So please remember that this is a negative word. All right. Okay. Now, these were few words. I tried to pick up as many words that are there and have appeared in the past, in the CAT exam, in the ZAT exam, in the Nasi Munji exam. So a lot of words that I've picked up are from actual exam paper. Now, the only exam tip that I have for you is, yes, this is a pure vocabulary set. Sometimes if we don't know the meaning, then it's just a complete zero reference for us. But then, yet I would say, read the sentence for meaning, not for sound, while doing these questions. Identify the part of speech required. Sentence पढ़ो, देखो पूछा क्या है. क्या यहाँ पे noun लगेगा, verb लगेगा, adjective लगेगा या adverb लगेगा, right? Eliminate options that don't fit context and then reread to confirm logic. For example, when I say identify the part of speech required, what I mean is, for example, in the word beside and besides. Now, besides means apart from. Besides preparing for CAT, I'm also preparing for GMAT. This is besides. Now, beside is next to. So, this is a preposition, right? While this is a conjunction. Just that S makes all the difference. One is a preposition of place. Come and sit beside me. She sat beside me during the movie. While besides is a conjunction. So I hope I've been able to clear as many confusing words as I could. We will continue this trail. We will do more words in further upcoming YouTube sessions. Till then, remember the words that we have done today. Thank you for attending the session.